Kids WB was a big part of many people's childhoods, and today we're going to answer the question, did Xiaolin Showdown start off well? Ayo, what is up everyone? It is the Alpha J of the Alpha J Show, and this was requested. So if you have an episode or series that you want me to cover, please go into the description or card and click on my request video and leave a comment there. If you don't know but you're interested in the show, Xiaolin Showdown, quote, was created by Christy Huey. Set in a world where martial arts battles and Eastern magic are commonplace, the series follows 4 young Shaolin warriors in training who battle the Xiaolin forces of evil. So let's get into this. Prologue time! We see the ancient scroll of the Shen-Gong-Wu open up to explain essentially the story.
Thousands of years ago, a furious battle was waged between the great and noble Shaolin dragon Dashi and the evil Xiaolin witch Wu Ya. In the end, Dashi triumphed, and Wu Ya was forever imprisoned in a simple wooden puzzle box. And a long line of Shaolin dragons has stood ready to face evil, should that balance ever shift.
So if you didn't get that, a Shaolin monk presented to be good, Grandmaster Dashi, was in a battle against a Xiaolin witch, Wu Ya, presented to be evil over the Shen-Gong-Wu, which holds enough power to take over the world. In a battle that Dashi ended up winning, trapping Xiaolin in the box, he essentially hid all of the pieces around the world so no one can have that much power so easily. Now this reminds me of a lot of shows, mainly the exact Ninjago episode I did, and it's okay to have similar premises. It's bound to happen, but it really does show how certain tropes are seen in this genre of animation. It is also important to note that Grandmaster Dashi was labeled a Dragon Master, something said main characters in this show will be fighting for, and that this was the very first Xiaolin Showdown, something I will explain later when we get around to it. The narration was voiced by Rene Auberjonois, or better known as Master Feng, who we will be seeing quite a bit in the first episode. We then get to see the yellow main character, not voiced by Tom Kenny, Omi, who's actually voiced by Tara Strong. I knew the voice sounded incredibly recognizable, and so it was. This episode explores Omi's determination being challenged by his lack of outside perspective and experiences, and thus he struggles to reach the level he wants to with all of these new challenges. Look here as he worries about being an eighth of an inch off a move. That sort of deliberate practice showed to me quite early and quite effectively that he's a very determined individual. Now looking at this cartoon for a show produced in 2003, I don't believe the animation looks that bad. I do think there is certain things that the show wanted to do well that it couldn't do, or did off screen or took shortcuts for. As you can see with the beginning scenes, he really isn't doing all that much, and it is up to the audience to fill in the blanks for what story he's trying to imply. Honestly, maybe it's just my optimism talking, but this doesn't look like it was made nearly 15 years ago. It does have the Kids WB vibe, that early Johnny Test vibe, but I'm not sure if that's my nostalgia or that sort of quick but slightly amateurish action that a few shows would go to have talking. I mean, to my surprise, shows like Foster would just come out a year after this. And like that show, this show doesn't look too dated.
Omi, time to come in, young monk.
As a Shaolin dragon of the water.
You're not a dragon yet, Omi.
Yes, but I have been chosen to become one, and that means striving for and obtaining perfection.
It also means having the sense to get out of the rain. Come, young monk.
I'm not too crazy about his character design. It doesn't look too recognizable. Since I already brought up that show, let's take Ninjago for example. When I look at Master Wu, his character design is recognizable in this show because he looks like what a sensei in media looks like. He looks like he has age, but he also retains this calm and wise sort of appeal that would become much harder to show in a Lego universe where many characters are built from the same sort of bricks. If you were to tell me that someone went into the future and plucked a background character from Chowder that was initially rejected as a yoga instructor for a future episode and redrawn for the purpose of being the master of a show made years earlier, I would believe you. But I would also go back in time, using your time machine, reinvest in YouTube, and buy an entire country for my panda brethren to enjoy in peace. I also see the animators making a choice to use this white glow to symbolize the rain hitting down on his chrome dome, and I don't think that was a good choice at all. It actually actually looks more like a poorly picked Photoshop outer glow effect. I do want to reiterate though, I definitely enjoy Omi's strive to be perfect, despite him never attaining it. He does show flaws much later in the episode, and it just shows that he isn't self-aware just yet, adding to the childlike naivety that his character often has, at least in this episode. We also get to meet Dojo Kanojo Cho, who I'm just gonna call Dojo at this point. He is the guard of the ancient scroll of the Shen-Gong-Wu, which is apparently also used to locate said Shen-Gong-Wu when said item decides to reveal itself. This can be a very small pick, by the way, but the way that Dojo exits the scene is very weird considering that he can fly. I know a lot of you would question not only why it matters or why I would find that weird to point out, but keep in mind, how weird would it be if Cosmo and Wanda walked up the stairs in Timmy's house if Timmy was home alone? Wouldn't wishing or flying to this hypothetical destination be more natural options for them? So Master Feng informs Omi that the new students are also being trained here, as they are also chosen to be Dragon Masters. You could even call them the Chosen Ones, despite 4 of them being here. We have Raimundo, voiced by Tom Kenny, Kimiko, voiced by Gray Delisle, and Clay, voiced by Jeff Bennett. These 3 names, as well as Tara Strong voicing Omi, may all be recognizable to your average cartoon fan, as these are all well-respected people in the industry. You can tell with a star-studded team like this that they already started off on the right foot. And I also appreciate how they sort of grow together and work on projects together. Raimundo serves as your arrogant, street-smart sort of guy who will pick on Omi in this first episode because jerk. Kimiko is tech-savvy, and it is shown by her clearly dated technology, to our time at least, that she'll be very interesting to watch. And Clay is your down-to-earth Texan cowboy who's very rooted in his values. So we get the said character development that is supposed to show the audience that Clay is a cowboy, Kimiko loves technology, and Raimundo is a rebel, while Omi is naive to outside life. Honestly, it's a little on the nose with it, and it doesn't really make too much sense when you get down to it. I'm not saying that everything needs to be subtle, but at least get to the conclusions of what the characters are. I am well aware of everything you're trying to tell me in the next few scenes, from the very moment they were first introduced, and it appears that you're trying to pad out the 22-minute runtime a little bit by re-explaining the obvious. Clay is a cowboy, does he have a lasso? Oh my god. So is she gonna use the basic tech language like Wi-Fi? Oh my god. Raimundo is a rebel, so is he not gonna listen to anything Omi says? Oh my god.
I want to rule the whole world! All of it! Not some of it, not just Iceland or Fiji. I want to rule the whole world!
I'll give the show the benefit of the doubt and see if it explains why he wants to in a later episode. As I try to do these Did This Start Off Well reviews with as little future information as possible, but it keeps dawning to me, why does he want to rule the world? They don't really explain it. He wants to rule the world because he's Jack Spicer, and he's Jack Spicer because he wants to rule the world. He receives a puzzle box similar to the one we've seen in the Ancient Scroll prologue at the beginning of the episode.
Plans for world conquest? My dear boy, we have much in common. What's your name?
Jack Spicer, who are you? What are you?
Me? I'm your new best friend.
Off camera, due to "we'll be back to you after these messages" syndrome, she explains to Jack here that because she cannot touch anything physically, she chose him to retrieve all of the Shen-Gong-Wu to rule side by side with her, and something tells me that she's just going to throw him aside when she has everything she needs, but I guess I'm probably not supposed to be thinking too far ahead. I'm probably also not supposed to think about why the Shen-Gong-Wu now decide to reveal themselves after Wu Yu came out of the puzzle box. Is she the one that activates them? It seems very convenient that these Shen-Gong-Wu pieces appear when she's now looking for them. So the first task, achieve the Mantis Flip Coin, which aids in giving superhuman jumping powers. Clay starts to take a back seat as this becomes about Dojo, Omi, Kimiko, and Raimundo. The next scene shows Kimiko showing Omi a game. Now, as I said earlier, Omi has no knowledge of outside life, so this video game is a new experience for him, and he seems to enjoy it quite well.
Look, Kimiko. My new little friend cooperates with me as I push the buttons. Hiya! My little friend has been taken by the dark forces of evil!
Oh my god, Omi. Never change. You know, originally I was gonna talk about how Omi plays the game and he's just jamming his finger into the buttons. Please, don't do that. This is just way too funny to me. It's like Omi's bowling ball head gives him absolutely no peripheral vision, and I'd imagine that the scene was trying to show that Omi was really into the game and he didn't see the sliding hand. Now, this is a problem with the composition of the scene. Maybe, and this is just a suggestion, if the scene showed Omi really focused, and instead of cutting to this shot, which took me out of any belief that Omi couldn't have seen what was done, move away from the close-up shots so I can see that Omi couldn't have seen it from his angle, because when you show us this, you're really pushing it. Kimiko really slugs this kid's arm, and we get to this spot here, San Francisco. I really do love the design here, and I think it worked for what they wanted to show. However, I'm pretty sure, based on how this car came into the photo, that he drove up the same road they had in Rock Bottom. Also, these characters are so great. I agree, and that's why I'm giving you a handshake in front of the street lamp, when we aren't in front of the street lamp, giving a very weird perspective. Herpaderp, what a lovely Kids WB logo. Nah, I'm just busting their Shen-Gong-Wus. This actually looks quite fine. So they catch up with Jack and Wuya, who have the first coin, and fight off the first wave of robots. I'm getting a serious Sonic and Eggman vibe here. Now, some people may question the validity of this scene because it is implied that the group sans Omi haven't received any formal training and thus shouldn't be able to fight at the skill level they are portrayed to be at. One could argue that they were picked because there was something inside of them that showed that they would be competent in getting Shen-Gong-Wu. Plus, Kimiko isn't afraid to slug someone. However, if you thought it was too early, I don't blame you.
You never mentioned freaks in pajamas would be looking for the Shen-Gong-Wu too.
Oh, so is this coming from the guy who woke up and wore the last hefty bag outside? You look like you saw Jack Skeleton once, and you decide to become the $2 version mixed with generic mad scientist. That would even make Professor Calamitous remember why he isn't as much as a store brand reject as you. Also, why fly in a straight line when you have the option of adjusting your latitude? Oh, so that Clay would smash into Omi at the last second, thus making it impossible to get the coin. I mean, you could have easily fixed this with having Kimiko throw up or diagonally upward, so that as Jack rises, Omi also gets hit, thus making Omi fall to the ground at a much higher altitude, either hitting the ground or having Clay catch him. With this scene, it just makes everyone except Omi look incompetent, and Omi himself look like a dork, although with the next scene, he really doesn't need much help in that department.
Because of you three, we have lost the first Shen-Gong-Wu!
Dude, it was a coin.
A magical coin!
Anyway, they promise to get the next Shen-Gong-Wu, which appears to be the 2-ton tunic. It is a very heavy but useful item that protects from all physical attacks. Oh, I'm sure they're just going to fail next time and it's gonna set up an all or nothing battle, which is going to be so cookie cutter, blah blah blah.
2-ton tunic is mine! Not so fast!
Well, geez, I didn't see that coming. Neat subversion. No, really. Clay and Raimundo jack up Jack so hard that he doesn't get back up for a long time. In fact, in the next screen, it is implied with all the bots attacking the group that he's still lying down in the boat. In fact, once they destroy the dock, with Omi activating the 2-ton tunic and thus the bots not letting to get their hair wet, leaving the group alone, he is still in the boat, laying down, but this time he gets yelled at by Wuyu. I definitely enjoy the comedy in this show if you haven't noticed. So with the next and final artifact, because rule of threes, Omi and Jack fight over the Eye of Dashi, which helps with lightning, I guess. Or at least that's how Clay puts it, according to the first episode. Because both of them want the Shen-Gong-Wu, they must battle in a Xiaolin Showdown, which means a challenge that either has Jack receive the eye, but also the 2-ton tunic that Omi wagered, in addition to the Mantis flip coin he already has, or Omi will receive the Eye of Dashi, but also the Mantis flip coin that Jack is wagering, and also in addition to the 2-ton tunic that he already has. They get taken up to a ridiculous height, and whoever gets the eye gets to keep it.
That means go.
How am I supposed to do this?
I mean, you can fly, but I guess you're evil, but not a rule breaker.
Use your Shen-Gong-Wu!
Oh yeah! Mantis flip coin!
I don't understand how the delay or reverb you have on your voice happens here. Generally, in an open field, you can create an echo, but in media, it's usually depicted to be yelling. Now, with the 2-ton tunic from Omi, you would expect them to have carried around a lot of weight just to get past what is essentially a lighter, more optimized for this challenge Jack. And I do enjoy the final race, even if Jack is pretty much devolved into an inconsistent bag of narcissistic idiocy. How come you're fine with cheating with the bots but not flying? Oh, that's right! Because the story wouldn't really work if you flew to the finish line immediately. But then why is he just sitting here? He's not even watching the mayhem he's doing. Like, he's just pondering. What is he pondering about when the path to world domination is in front of him? Like, maybe I can let this slide if he was watching the monsters, but it's assumed with the right to left nature of the race and composition that he's looking away from Omi, who is behind him. What is he doing? Anyway, because Omi needs to catch up, he stops again and allows Omi to use pantsing to get ahead and thus have the Eye of Dashi. I also know this scene is made to show that Omi is learning from his friends and he uses those lessons to beat up Jack, and I also know that these scenes are supposed to show that Jack is losing because of his own overconfidence. However, you didn't need to make Jack look like he doesn't know Jack in the process.
You have all done exceptionally well. Wouldn't you agree, Dojo?
Not bad. For amateurs.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step.
Where do you get this stuff?
I have a desk calendar.
I appreciate the honesty. So with the victory, the episode ends with Master Feng telling Omi that his new friends will actually be the Dragon Masters. Kimiko, the Dragon of Fire, Clay, the Dragon of Earth, and Raimundo, the Dragon of Wind. Did Xiaolin Showdown start off well? Despite the logic flaws, inconsistencies in Jack, and some funky editing choices, I would say yes. This episode made me excited to see more, and it sold me on its potential lore and story. I would say that this is a pretty good episode, and I'll be totally up for seeing more. But I want to know what you think. Have you seen this show before? If not, would you be interested in watching it? Let me know in the comments as I try to read as many as I can. As always, special thanks to the patrons who lead me closer to the Shen-Gong-Wu so I can plan my world domination. Make sure to follow me at the ALPHAJ Show on Twitter, go into my request video for any other topic you think I should cover, and if you really like this video, you should check out my entire Did This Start Off Well playlist. You may find another series which you could be interested in, or specifically my Did Ninjago Start Off Well video, which has some striking similarities. Anyways, make sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. I hope your time is well spent, and Alpha out.